Actually, going back to what Sue said about them learning about different opportunities that are available, one of the students who was in the first high school branch we ever opened is now our director of training there at the credit union. So it was a good opportunity for her to start out as a teller and get that school experience, and then come forth and really give something back to our credit union and help us continue to grow. It's that lesson, those partnerships with the schools have really helped us to see the importance of being involved with the youth in our community and making sure that the youth have a solid future and all of those tools that they need to go on and be successful. Over the years, our staff has been able to take their community involvement and their passion for students and be part of the job interview section of this program and work with students there. And our HR department has absolutely been blown away with some of the students that come in and the skills they have, and have been very confident about how those students would go on to do in future job interviews. And our staff loves that opportunity to get involved and to see that future of the community that comes with those students.
Well, great. That's a great segue into maybe explaining and talking about some of the details of Career Connections. Now, Judy, you and Sue can kind of take this a little bit from here, because this event has gone on for a number of years under the direction of you and your cohorts.
It's been I was trying to remember the other day when the first year was, and I can remember because we did it at Chemeketa, we did it at Willamette one year, we've done it at each of the high schools. We rotated high schools for a while, and I think the reason that we pursue it, and we were so glad that we could even make it better by having the connections, is that this is probably one of the most valuable events that we do throughout the year. And it involves a lot of students. That's the thing that's really kind of cool about it. And that each of our students, they start their preparation now. Actually, we're starting right away when second semester starts. And they'll be writing their resumes. They'll be doing all of that in their classrooms. And then we'll be taking them to the event, and they're all, actually the kids have already come down and talked to me and said, hey, when is this event? When are we going to do it? And I said, we'll be talking about it soon. And they're getting excited. So we show up for the event, and Sue and Kathy have done a great job in getting this all set up so far. We'll have the vendors there, and we'll have, and our students will view the vendors, and then they will also have that connection to be able to do those practice interviews, or mock interviews as we call them. And from that, they'll be evaluated by each of those people that are interviewing them, and then they will go back to school with those evaluations, and then we look at them and we go through them and we see how can we improve in our interviewing skills. And then we find out how many kids really got offered jobs while they were there, which happens. It's not what it's about, but it's an awareness opportunity. But there were, I think, at least 3 or 4 kids last year that actually got offered jobs while they were interviewing. So they were told to come and apply. So through that, from the school's perspective, it's a huge opportunity for them to be able to pick up some of those skills and work on those interview tactics, and to have employers or the interviewers tell them exactly what they're doing right and wrong, and that's the beauty of it. And to be, have constructive criticism on each of those. The kids take those back, they look at them and say, oh, I need to do better at this, or look at this. One of the kids brought me up their evaluation that one time, and they says, oh my gosh, I got all really good. I must have done really well, And so I said, well, now what do you think you need to work on? And we went from that, and we just looked at that. So it was, it's such a positive experience for all of the kids.
Great. Sue, talk a little bit about how it has evolved, the program, and some of the features that are new and different than they have been, and some of the things that you're hearing from businesses that are involved, and how many businesses will be involved.
Okay, terrific. We've been working, the regular enumerated work is three school years old this year. It's 3.5 school years old. And as I mentioned earlier, we partner very closely with the career specialist at the high schools. And it just made a lot of sense for us to partner for Career Connections, which used to be called Jiffy, which was Job and Interview Fair for Youth. And it just made sense for us to partner to allow the career specialist who used to do all the securing of mock interviewers, of which this year we'll have about 140 individuals from the business community, and 37 different representatives from career opportunities to post-secondary training institutes will be at our job and training fair. It really made sense to let them focus on their students, and so that Kathy and I could take, and our program could take, and continue to connect with our employers in the community. So that just strengthens both areas of the event. The other part of it is now that we're sited at the conference center, we obviously have more space. It's a beautiful venue, and the conference center provides worksite tours for the students. Every half hour as this event goes on, a different group of about 20 students can go. They can do the behind the scenes of the conference center, of Bentley's, and of the Grand. So it's a great opportunity for students that are interested in hospitality to get that behind the scenes look. So it's we have 100 students from each of the 6 high schools. So it's there's a lot of students coming through there, and ideally every student gets at least 3 interviews, and it's really fun, as Judy was mentioning, it's really fun to see, as you're eavesdropping, and you might pick some students to kind of listen to and see their progress, but it's terrific to see how just that immediate feedback, like if Jill's talking with a student and they break out of interview mode and she says, well, you know, you're doing a really good job, but make sure that you look me in the eye when you talk to me, or just little things that you can help, or these are some words that I really look for of qualities of an applicant, and so think about that when you're giving your answers. So as you kind of watch students go through the event and the mock interviews, you can see their wheels going and saying, okay, I'm going to answer this one differently, and the next time they talk, they're more confident and their answer is better, and they start to really understand what employers are going to expect of them in the whole interview process. And they have great conversations with the interviewers and the employers at the job and training fair. And these are our expectations in ethics. And from the moment you walk in the door to ask for an application, these are our expectations of you if you want to be interviewed and considered for employment. So the kids get so much feedback and value out of that. Conversely, you talked about the employers, and it's the feedback we get from the employers is that they see so many promising students, and it just really makes them feel good that they're providing access to that information and the resources for the students, and there's great things that are going to happen for Salem Kaiser students because they are trying so hard and they are focused and they want to be successful. And really just in the job and training fair, it's exposing your business to the students for possible employment, or the training institutes, the post-secondary entities can talk about recruitment and what their training programs are and where the opportunities lie. So it really is a win-win for the business community and for the students and the schools. So.
Well, maybe Jill will have a little fun with me now. You've probably been on both sides of the table throughout your life, on both the being the interviewee and the interviewer. So why don't you start and share, if you would, what are those things that you look for as an employer if you're interviewing anybody? And maybe in the back of your mind, maybe we could have some fun and you could share what was your toughest interview and why.
All right.
If you have. But
I was a little afraid that you were actually going to start asking me interview questions, so this is easier than that.
Yeah.
But I think that when I'm interviewing employees, and we at MAPS, we do both the one-on-one interviews and we also do panel interviews, so you bring one person in to talk to 10 different people at the same time. And from the candidate's perspective, that can be a little bit intimidating. But what we really look for is not necessarily the person with the most experience or the person who has done exactly what it is you're hiring that person to do. But we look for somebody who has the right attitude and who exhibits a willingness to learn about the job and to come in and to be really open and to be accessible to the information that comes. At MAPS, we have a great training program, and so we can teach them the hard skills that they need, but we can't teach them about having a better attitude, or we can't teach them about showing up to work on time. They kind of have to be prepared to do that on their own. Some of the other things we really look for is a good blend with the culture, and that's both for the organization and for the person who's coming in. It's not fun to go to work at a place where you don't feel like you fit in, and so that's one thing that we like to try to screen our candidates on, and to ask them questions or give them opportunities to ask us questions about what it's like to actually work for MAPS, and to have a person come in and be aware of that and be able to ask those questions is certainly a strength, because it shows that they're aware that coming into work is not something you just kind of dial it in and show up. You actually should be engaged in the environment you're at there.